kailabreece.
The Tea Party movement is a populist, conservative, and libertarian political pressure group in the United States that grew throughout 2009 in a series of locally and nationally coordinated protests. The protests were partially in response to several federal laws: the Emergency Economic Stabilization Act of 2008, the American Recovery and Reinvestment Act of 2009, and a series of healthcare reform bills. But as of 2010, the Tea Party is not a national political party. It does not officially run any congressional candidates, and its name has not appeared on any ballots. However, their infiltration of the Republican Party is more than evident. The Tea Party's most noted national figures include highly Republican politicians such as Dick Armey and Sarah Palin, and nearly all Tea Party candidates, roughly about 80%, consider themselves to be very conservative Republicans. With that said, observers have suggested that the movement itself is not really a new political party more than it is just a marketing tool to reintroduce traditional Republican policies. Bottom line, the movement has no central leadership and is a loose affiliation of smaller local groups. The movement's primary concerns, though, include, but they're not limited to, cutting back the size of government, lowering taxes, reducing wasteful spending, reducing the national debt and the federal budget deficit, and this is the most important, an adherence to an originalist understanding of the United States Constitution, which of course is a matter of interpretation. Several polls have been conducted on the demographics of this movement. Though the various polls sometimes turn up slightly different results, they tend to show that the Tea Party supporters are mostly white, mostly male, mostly married, mostly older than 45, and conservative, way more conservative than the general population. Now, there was also a poll done by the University of Washington that reported some very bizarre social statistics. One, that 73% of Tea Party supporters disapproved of Obama's policy of engaging Muslim countries. 88% approved of the controversial immigration law that was enacted in Arizona. 82% do not believe that gay and lesbian couples should have the legal right to marry. And about 52% believe that lesbians and gays have too much political power. Whatever that means. My question to my fellow intellectuals is this: who do you think the Tea Party represents? And what do you see as the ideology of the movement itself? Are they anti-government, anti-secular, anti-liberal, anti-establishment, anti-reason, anti-tax? Or just pro-right-wing in its most conservative form? Now, Sarah Palin is the symbolic leader of the movement. More than anyone else has helped to shape it. And that is why I have come to the conclusion that the movement is synonymous with Palin's ideology of social conservatism and the moral majority. Pat Robertson in 1992 told the Denver Post that one day the Christian dominionist movement would infiltrate the Republican Party. Well, this is what I think he was getting at. Look at the leaders of the various Tea Party organizations. There's the Nationwide Tea Party Coalition with Michael Patrick Leahy, who's the editor of Christian Faith and Reason. There's the Tea Party Express with Mark Williams, who was later fired by his own group for his racist comments. There's the Tea Party Nation, whose official website emphasizes God as much as possible. And then there's the Tea Party Patriots, the group that proclaims itself to be the official home of the movement, well, they have close ties to the conservative nut, Dick Armey. And if you want to see the real dirt, see how the Tea Party is connected to the Patriot movement of the 1950s. And the picture's then clear. Now trust me when I say that I am a conservative. I subscribe to smaller government, workfare, always before welfare. I'm against unions in developed countries. I'm not a fan of taxation, but it is necessary. I love the free market, and I believe in balanced budgets. However, many of the Tea Party people, like Palin, Sean Hannity, the young O'Donnell, are religious fundamentalists with conservative values that mirror a Southern Confederacy from the Civil War era. If the Tea Party was truly for small government, why would they have interest in banning gay marriage? That is government at its largest, trying to govern morality. The reality is, the Tea Party is the Christian right. So for me, as long as the Republicans bed with the Tea Party zealots, I will be a Republican voting Democrat. Maybe the Tea Partiers should just start their own party. I mean, what would Jesus do? This is kailabreece. What do you know?